Good morning, dear guests. It's a great pleasure for me to take part in this event this year as well. That is a very important event. And I'm very happy that I have this honor to present this information about Open Government Partnership Initiative in Georgia. Open Government Partnership Initiative is international global initiative that was the initiative of the presidents of Brazil and the USA, and it was founded in 2011. What is the purpose of this initiative? To develop sound competition in different countries and to increase accountability, transparency, and to involve the citizens. And technologies and innovations are a very important part of this initiative, and these relations between open governments. And today's event is resulted in the initiatives that ensure the transparency and accountability. And transparency and accountability are based on the development of innovations and technologies. How Georgia participated in this initiative till 2013, but nowadays we have some novelties, and Georgia is member of the elected committee among all the 65 countries. It's the managing committee of this initiative, and the members of this committee are representatives of the NGOs and governmental organizations, and 8 countries. So Georgia was among those 8 countries that joined this committee this year. And for 2 years, Georgia will be a member of this committee and will participate in managing it. How this initiative works on the national level. In order to implement this initiative, the countries are obliged to produce their own action plans. So what they will do in order to respond to all these challenges in this field, and also they should present their values. These values are it means that their accountability, public participation, increasing transparency, and development of technologies and innovations. And the action plan also covers all these commitments and obligations what the countries should implement within the framework of this initiative. The Open Government Partnership has its own working groups as well, and it's a very important mechanism for us to exchange information and to learn some new initiatives from other member countries. So there are 5 working groups. Georgia is member of 3 working groups as a member. There is information, access to information working group, there's legislation openness working group, and open data working group, and openness and budgetary openness working group. Open government partnerships managing committee has 3 subcommittees, and Georgia is member of these subcommittees as well. It's the Information and Data Exchange Subcommittee Georgia is member of. So our initiatives might be discussed at a very general level and international level. And what our achievements are within this framework, and our achievements are not restricted only with Georgia's election as member of this committee. We have some other very valuable results as well. In 2000, we, for example, developed the first action plan in 2011-2012, and Georgia so implemented and introduced very interesting innovations, and also that resulted very important and valuable results. And at the international summit, Georgia was represented, and Georgia's initiative on the freedom and transparency of information, Georgia was the winner. So electronic communication with the government, it was the innovation that was introduced in Georgian reality, and Georgia got the award for that. One of the requirements of the open government partnership is as follows: all these commitments that government has, international commitments or commitments, national ones, these commitments should be prepared or developed on the basis of very wide participation, of the public. It means that participation of the population and institutions. And the second action plan of 2012 and 15 action plan was developed on the basis of the public participation as well. At the national level, there were conducted different types of meetings. About 700 citizens participated, and they also submitted their own propositions, their own suggestions that were included in the action plan as well. As for the action plan of 2014-15, there are 27 commitments altogether, and 17 different responsible agencies. And the topics of these commitments are related to all the challenges of this initiative. There are 5 challenges. The first challenge is the improvement of the public services. The second is the public participation. And the third is the better management of the public resources. And the fourth is the creation of the secure environment in the country. As for the fifth challenge, Georgia has not joined this fifth challenge. Is this the increase of the justice in the private sector. As for all these commitments, there are initiatives that have already been mentioned by my colleagues, or that are going to be mentioned by my colleagues in future. These are the major projects that we are implementing in the field of increase of transparency and accountability, and we are very proud of it, proud of our success in these fields. So there are 27 commitments altogether, but these are the main commitments. The first one is the Freedom of Information Act, legal act. The second is Open Data Portal and its introduction into the so Data Exchange Agency works on that. The third is this e-petitions portal and its introduction in the Georgian reality, and the Data Exchange Agency works on that and coordinates its activities with the governmental administration. And the fourth one is the creation of the digital archive system. As for other commitments are very important for our country as well, and not less ambitions, and they have this innovative approaches. And as for so we have 4 different fields and 4 different topics, and this I'll enumerate these commitments now. What will be submitted by us. These are our commitments that we are to implement in the years of 2014 and 15. The first group of commitments is the development of houses of justice, and no new component was added to it. The introduction of the private sector services, introduction of Just Drive, and the introduction of the feedback system with our customers. The next direction is community centers and establishing of these community centers. So building of new community centers centers, improving of the existing ones, and the introduction of the electronic governance, and also attaching new roles to the libraries. So the libraries will have these community centers as well, adapted libraries. The next one in the plan is the citizens portal and its improvement, adding new services, introductions, and raising awareness of the population in order to use the citizens portal for them, because it's very useful and important for them. Development of the Freedom of Information Act is very important for us, because under the legislation currently in force, so all these provisions are disseminated or dispersed in different laws, and it's not clear enough to ensure the effective implementation of these topics. So we'll have to develop a new law on that. For example, we'll have to define the public information. We don't have this definition yet, and the basis for accessibility to public information should be defined, and in which cases this information should be made public, and who or which agency should be responsible for providing public this information. The next one is this introduction of the electronic mechanism, on the basis of which the government will have the right to apply to government with a petition or an application, and the government should make the relevant decision. So of course it should be within the competence of the government, or in the competence of the relevant ministries. So at this stage we developed a concept of a very interesting mechanism, and so relevant legal framework. Regulatory framework. So e-procurement system is a product that we are very proud of. It is also stipulated in the working plan, and so different tenders and competition should be added to this e-procurement system. So e-declarations, the mechanisms of electronic declarations, that is the product we are very proud of. It has been used in Georgia, applied in Georgia, but we need some additional component in order to make it play its a very important role of preventing corruption. It's the monitoring system of electronic declarations. At this stage, more than 3,000 public officials are obliged to fill in this public servants declaration. It will be automatically uploaded to the website in two languages, Georgian and English, but nobody controls it now, whether this information and data are correct or not. We are not the only country that lacks this monitoring system, but many countries also lack the system, but we will be one of the leaders when we introduce this electronic monitoring system, and Anti-Corruption Council will be responsible for monitoring of this website. The next commitment is related to this 112, and the Ministry of Interior is responsible for that, for alternative ways to connect to 112. So every citizen should have the right to and this opportunity to refer to this call center, people with restricted opportunities as well. And OGG Forum, it's a coordinating mechanism that we do have here in Georgia, and it's the Open Forum, Open Government Forum. This is the national coordination mechanism that members of it are donor organizations, civic sector, governmental organizations. They meet regularly and ensure the development of the working plan and the monitoring of the implementation of this working plan. What are other commitments among those 27 ones that we do have in our partner working plan of 2014 and 15? For example, transparent civil service recruitment rules, improvement of the electronic system of human resources management, improvement of the public finances management system and its implementation nationwide. So publication of the financial declarations of different political parties, so increase of the public awareness, also ensuring of the participation of the population in the budgetary processes, and implementation of the internet crimes, map of the internet crimes, proactive publication of the statistics on the wire interception. This is publication of relevant information of the website of the Ministry of Interior, and increase of the transparency of the National Archive. In order to disseminate information about the commitments that Georgia took under this plan, and this plan was approved by the governmental decree on the 18th of September 2014. So the citizens so should participate in that with their suggestions and with regard to improvement of our participation in the Open Government Partnership initiative. That's all. Thank you very much for your attention. I'm very grateful to you for inviting me to this conference, and I hope that next year all these commitments will have been implemented, because we cooperate with 16 different responsible agencies, and coordination is the is the key to our success, key factor to our success.